Hello. Thank you for engaging in this training on building positive relationships with youth and families in our programs. This training was developed in response to some of the things that we saw in our Summer Camp 2024 season. There were a number of instances where our campers expressed to us in one way or another that they were struggling with some sort of mental health challenge. Those challenges included suicidal ideation, self-harming behavior, depression, and anxiety, among other things, but those were the most prevalent that we saw in the summer of 2024. And the first step in assisting youth who are struggling with those challenges really is to build positive, trusting relationships with them, as well as with their families, so that they'll know that we're supporting them, that they'll take it seriously when we let them know that their children are expressing these things, and they'll be more inclined to follow up on any resources we may give them to help their child address that need. So why is this important and how do we achieve this? So our goal should be to build positive relationships and to conduct daily check-ins in our youth-facing programs. Again, that will establish trust. That will help reduce unwanted behaviors, right? If youth in our programs feel safe, feel seen, feel connected, they're less likely to act out. It will assist us in preventing an acute mental health challenge or in identifying early that a child might be struggling. And then in general, this environment will support positive social emotional development in youth, both for those who may be struggling with something specific or just everyone in general. Certainly establishing positive relationships, checking in daily with youth will build their resilience. So how can we build this relationship? Um, Engage in activities in your program that helps you get to know the youth in your program, that helps the youth get to know one another, and that helps you get to know their families or parents or guardians. We have a number of icebreaker activities that can help with this directly. Getting to know you, would you rather, is a great way to help the youth in your programs get to know one another, celebrate their differences, find their similarities. It can also help them get to know you on kind of a surface level, which again creates that sense of safety in your program. Story time is another fantastic icebreaker activity. Um, you essentially provide a situation or a script, and you invite kids to tell a story that relates to that scenario that you present. Sidewalk chalk messages is really, really fun and easy. Ask the youth in your program to write a message in chalk. You could ask them to write something that they like about themselves. You can ask them to write something they like about their friend or a family member or a staff member. And then we also have the Kindness Project. So this is meant to acknowledge positive behaviors in the program. Rather than constantly responding to the negative behaviors, it helps us to celebrate those positive behaviors. So any youth who demonstrates one of our four core values of caring, honesty, respect, or responsibility can get a kindness award. And then it also gives you something positive to tell mom, dad, or guardian at pickup. You can hand them the award and you can let them know the great thing that their kid did. So again, that positive praise goes toward not only building a positive relationship with the youth, but with their family as well. And all of these activities are scripted for you. I'll show you where to find them at the end of the presentation. Another great way to help youth feel supported and to identify issues that may be bubbling up before they become a big problem is to engage in daily check-ins. You can ask the youth in your program how they're doing. It's as simple as, hey, how are things going today? What's something that you enjoyed? What's something that didn't go well? Is there anything you need help with? Is there any activity you want to make sure we do today or this week? We have tools for you. You may have emotional support resource binders in your program. If not, it's something we can email you. It's something we have saved to a SharePoint site. If you have that kid that you check in with them regularly and they're like, I don't know, I'm fine, you're not getting a lot out of them, maybe something like a feelings wheel can assist them in identifying what they're feeling or what's making them feel that way or what they might need. Um, Nora Zobelli, one of our mental health specialists, also created a really fun kind of check-in activity based on Inside Out. We know Inside Out 2 just came out this summer, so kids might identify with that as well. It's really, really important to know the signs. If there is a youth struggling with a mental health challenge in our program, while none of us ever want to hear it, it's actually great when that youth vocalizes that they're struggling, that they're feeling suicidal, that they're harming themselves, that they feel depressed, that they feel anxious. Because if they're vocalizing it, we know about it. We can communicate that to their parent or guardian, and we can offer that family resources to help that child get what they need. It's actually scarier when they're not vocalizing it, right? We might not know that they're struggling. So if you think that maybe a kid is having a hard time and they're not vocalizing it, these are some of the signs that you can look for. Um, First of all, I hope this is obvious, but if they tell you something is wrong, take it seriously, believe them. This past summer, there was a lot of kind of in response to a disappointment, youth saying, oh, I should just kill myself, or I'm going to go shoot myself, or I don't even want to be alive anymore. And as adults, we probably guess that, they might be overreacting. They're just not handling that disappointment well in the moment. They probably don't mean those things. But we should take it seriously every single time a child expresses those thoughts, expresses that something is wrong, because you never know. And it never hurts to check in with how they're doing, to let a parent or guardian know that they said that, and to provide resources, just in case they're not overacting, just in case they really are feeling that way. So anytime a camper or a youth in a program expresses an emotion to you, take that seriously. Believe what they're telling you. Another sign that a child may be struggling with a mental health challenge is you may notice physiological changes or changes in their physical appearance or their physical behavior. So if you have a youth that's usually really high energy, suddenly seems lethargic, or vice versa. If you have a kid that's generally pretty calm, and they start acting out all of a sudden. If there's a change in their eating habits, a change in their appearance, a change in their personal hygiene or the way they're dressed, take those things seriously and just check in with them. Again, on the previous slide, you saw those check-in tools. You just ask, hey, how are you doing? Approach them calmly, approach them without judgment. It's not like, hey, I notice you're looking really terrible today, but oh, you're not dressed the way you usually are. Your hair looks different today. How are you doing? Again, just in a calm and non-judgmental approach. We may notice emotional changes. So if they're suddenly withdrawn, whereas usually they're very outgoing, or if they're no longer interested in some of the activities we do that they used to really enjoy. If they have an unusual affect is just kind of the outward expression of their emotion. So if something feels off, trust your gut. If they're showing negative or intense emotions, and that's not typical for them, that might be a sign that there's something they're struggling with. And then mental changes, which are different than emotional changes. Mental changes are more about their kind of their state of mind, their ability to engage. So if they suddenly seem confused, or they're not able to communicate as well as they typically are, or they're not able to concentrate on something. Pay attention to those things. Same with physiological changes. We want to ensure there's not some sort of like immediate medical emergency that requires a call for emergency services. But if you're noticing some of these changes in their mental status, that's often a sign as well. And then social changes, if the way that they interact with others is changing. So maybe they're more argumentative than normal, or maybe they're usually argumentative and they seem to have just kind of given up. If they're no longer engaging with a youth that they normally engage with. We know in young people, friendships can be fleeting. But if there's someone that they're really close to and all of a sudden they're not speaking to them at all, or if the way that they're engaging with that person changes, that could be a sign. If they're seeking out the company of different campers or different youth in our program, that can also be a sign that maybe something's going on. Again, None of these things stand alone indicate any sort of problem. It's just the kind of things to pay attention to and check in with a youth, ask them how they're doing, see if there's anything that they need. We do offer both adult and youth mental health first aid training. It goes into understanding these signs and knowing how to respond to them in great detail. It does result in an external certification. So if that's something that you're interested in for yourself or your team, please reach out to a member of the mental health team and we can work with you to get that scheduled for you. And then finally, if you are observing those signs and symptoms in a youth, know what to do. Definitely let the parent or guardian know what you've observed. You don't have to do that in a way that's an alarmist. We certainly aren't like diagnosing kids. But it's simply, maybe at pickup or maybe it's a phone call, depending on the severity, just letting that parent or guardian know that we've noticed a change in their child, that we care about their child, we want them to be safe, and just inquire if there's a way that we can better support them. I mentioned earlier, we do have a number of tools in our mental and emotional support resource binders to help you do these check-ins with campers. I'll show you where you can find that after the presentation. Most of your programs have either calm corners, so dedicated spaces where youth can go if they need help calming their emotions, or tranquil totes. Historically, they've been those purple drawstring tote bags that have some calming materials in them, some fidget tools, some emotional identification cards, some breathing exercises, things to help kids calm down if they're experiencing heightened emotions. We also, in addition to the school-aged mental and emotional support resources, we have some scripts and topics for teens that may impact them in particular, especially around some of those social challenges that are becoming a bit more complex. We have the mental health team. I'll give you our contact information at the end here. But we can come to your site. We can help you work through a challenge that you're seeing, or if you have a situation with a youth that you're not sure what to do. And then our team can also provide resources. Again, I'll show you where to find our resource sheets. I encourage you just to print those and have those available in your program. Sometimes maybe a family, a parent, a guardian is aware that their child is struggling. Maybe they're not comfortable admitting that. Maybe they're not comfortable talking to us about it. So just kind of seeing that resource sheet there can go a long way for someone who might know their kid is struggling and isn't sure where to start with getting them help. You can also engage the mental health team to give specific resources to address specific situations as well. So this is who we are. This is how to reach us. I'll leave that there for a moment so you can gather that information. And then I will show you our SharePoint site where you can access some of these additional resources. So if you go to our Metro Y SharePoint site, go to the mental health page. And most of what I've mentioned is here in this mental health resource folder. There's guidance on acute mental health situations. So if you do have a child in your program who says that they want to harm themselves or they want to kill themselves, or that they're struggling with depression or anxiety, there is some guidance here on how to respond to them in the moment, as well as reporting requirements, connection to resources. Our mental health resource sheet folder has a number of resource sheets. The one I want to bring your attention to is the Healthy Kids Day resource sheet. This has resources that are specific to supporting youth. In the state of New Jersey, any youth who is age 16 or older is able to seek mental health treatment on their own without the consent of a parent or guardian. Anyone 15 or younger must have the consent of their parent or guardian. So that's why it's really, really important, if you believe a youth is struggling, that you tell their parent or guardian as soon as you're able. And you can certainly offer them this resource sheet if they do indicate that they're interested in getting help. Also in our mental health resources folder You see, it's labeled Camp SEL activities, but it's really activities that can assist any school-age child. Then we also have some breathing and calming exercises here. If there's anything you're looking for that you can't find here, please reach out to a member of the mental health team. Again, I'll put our contact information here and we can help get you a resource. Okay. Thanks so much for engaging in this training today. Have a great day.